May 18 uprising began at the main gate of Jeonnam National University in 1980. But after confrontation, they moved to the Geumnam-ro street in front of here. So this began to be a battleground between citizens and then military forces. So there are many memorable places like a former Jeonnam Provincial Hall, and then Jeonnil Building in front, and then fountain, and then Sangmugwang. That was a kind of gymnasium for the regional police, provincial police. So here we see many places of significance of the Gwangju Uprising. So when we try to understand the Gwangju Uprising, we have to come and see and talk about the spirit of the uprising. After May 21st, when Citizen Army was formed and made this place as their headquarters, they began to have democracy rally around the fountain in front of us almost every day. And then this place became the headquarters, and probably, I'm not sure how many, hundreds of people gathered here, and they managed the whole city. And the military surrounded and blockaded the whole city. So at the end of the uprising, like May 27th in the evening, the military government warned the people here to vacate the provincial hall. But they sent very young people and women away. But still 157 decided to stay. In fact, they decided to die here. It is very important. If they surrendered and vacated this place, probably the power of the spirit of the uprising would have become much weaker. They stayed, and then about 27 people were killed in the morning of 27th. This kind of spirit of resistance gave power to this uprising. On the 26th evening, the Citizen Army held a press conference. I still remember that one of the reporters named Bradley Martin, Baltimore's son, he gave a question to the commander of the Citizen Army. He did not know who at that time, but he found the name later, who he interviewed, Yoon Sang-won, the spokesperson of the Citizen Army, but in fact he was the key person of the Citizen Army. He was asked by Bradley Martin, "Why are you staying? You are going to be killed." His response was, "I know I would be killed, but I cannot kill anybody else. I'm staying because I want to put my blood at the hand of the dictators for them to be accountable." That kind of spirit was shared by people who stayed here. 27 people were killed in the morning, but even more pain came later. I met one of the young people who stayed here at the time. He told me that he was tied by his hands at the back. He told me that he wanted to die because the tie was so tight that the pain was so unbearable. He wanted to die at that moment. We saw the pictures of the students being tied and pulled away, but we cannot feel the pain of their hands. The pain they suffered afterwards when they were tortured as well. I'm not sure how many were killed even afterwards. But the torture would have been unbearable. That kind of spirit of resistance gave the energy and the power. I talked about what is the background of Korean wave before. The background of the Korean wave is the pain and the spirit of resistance. The Geumnam-ro in front of us, it was a battleground during the uprising. And after the uprising for about 10 years, Geumnam-ro was the place of confrontation between military forces and the students. So around Geumnam-ro, there are many memorable places like Jeonnam Building, which was almost torn down. The city government decided to destroy it to build a new building, but people wanted to keep it. That's why it stayed now. And then recently, they found bullet holes from helicopters, which were very important evidence of the atrocity by the military forces. In addition, this provincial hall, when they decided to renovate as an Asian Culture Center, the architect decided to keep it as it is, even though some people wanted to make a big landmark. But a part of it was torn down, and then people staged movement to keep it recovered. Now it is in the process of restoration. Probably in 2 years, it will become almost the same as before. The architect decided to make it lower than the current building in order to make this symbol more visible. We should keep it as it were, as a symbol of resistance. That's what the architect wanted. And I think it is a very good, wise decision. I also wanted to mention that the presence of foreign press and local domestic press were also important. They created many stories. They spread the news of the uprising around the world. And this kind of legend was created by brave people, by the help of the reporters. Let's talk more about it soon. So I talked about Mr. Yoon Sang-won. That kind of brave stories are really important. But brave people are there, but without the stories are shared, then there is no effect. That kind of sharing is possible by storytelling, as well as places like this. So this kind of location gives image. It becomes very strong image to the people. So the provincial hall became a good symbol of resistance, and then the street itself has become important symbol of resistance, and then the Jeonnam Building became very strong symbol of resistance. But in fact, in front of it there was YMCA, and then behind it there was YWCA building. In fact, YWCA building was very important place of resistance. Even at the final night, young people stay there. But the building was torn down. It was sold out. And then they moved to other place, to bigger building. But we lost very important symbol of resistance. And then far away, there was a Catholic center. Then the Catholic center became May 18 archive. And then it was listed at the UNESCO World Heritage World Human Rights Documentary Heritage in 2011. So many documents, written, printed, pictures, or diaries, bulletins, they were all kept over there. Or even like the court documents, military documents, police documents were stored over there. It is also important to be listed in the UNESCO as a UNESCO documentary heritage, because it is acceptance by UN that the documents are reliable. So there are people who try to distort the truth, but the UNESCO document became very good support of the people here, the spirit of the people here. Even though they try to distort it, it is almost impossible now. Sometimes that kind of distort gets more attention of the people. So the people here are frequently angry about distortion. I frequently tell other people that because of the distortion, more general public began to be interested in May 18 uprising. We can make the most of bad things as well. So I can talk about the legend. There are many legends here created by Mr. Yoon, and then there is another important one whose name is Yoon Han-bong. She was a really efficient organizer. But and then at Jeonnam National University, there are student council person. So I will talk about some more legends at Jeonnam National.